The second Cal State Fullerton alum among our speakers tonight is Neil Smith. Neil is a former tour pro from Australia. He was a gold medalist at the PGA Tour qualifying school in 1992, and he has certainly combined his education and playing experience well. Golf Digest ranked Neil among the top 10 sports psychology consultants in the game of golf and on the PGA Tour. Please welcome Neil Smith.
Well, thank you. What an honor to be here this evening. And what a challenge. The challenge was presented. Can you please summarize your 25-year experience with Ken? And to be honest, probably the most single positive influence in my life into 5 to 7 minutes. That's a challenge. So the only disappointing thing is that I've got to follow a Kiwi. So Australia-New Zealand rivalry, Steve, I have to talk to you about that.
No accident.
I turned up at Fullerton. I was originally going to grad school at Cal State Long Beach and having kind of a miserable graduate experience, and went crying to Bill Hugheshack, who was the department chair at the time. I said, Bill, look, I'm not really getting what I want here. Is there any other alternates in this area? He says, well, have you heard of Ken Rivers? I'm like, no. He says, well, he's got quite a good reputation in applied sports psych. You should probably go sit in a class and see what it's like. So I turn up to undergrad 250, mental skills for athletes, of which most of us would be experiencing in one form or another. After a few hours of 250, I'm like, this is where I need to be. I go and ask Ken, can I transfer over? He says, blah, 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 sure, here's the paperwork, see you in 3 months' time. So it wasn't quite the reception I was hoping for, being special Neil. Not used to being treated as unspecial. So I turn up 3 months later and he goes, oh, you're here. And that semester I actually became Ken's graduate assistant. So, which basically is a lackey and does lots of assisting. Now, at this point here, I was thinking I was learning the keys to performance enhancement and success. I really was getting a master's degree in photocopying. Part of Ken's tests as a graduate student is they're trivial and many. If you pass these tests, then you start to get invited to several things. So after 3 or 4 months of getting my master's degree in photocopying, I started to be then invited to various things. So, and then it became this amazing experience, because I was this naive, cocky Australian kid that only had success in sport, really had no failure, pretty much except for an injury, and I'm like, what's the secret? There must be one way to do this. After a couple of years with Ken, guess what? There is some grey area in sport and life, and there's multiple roads to success. So at the end of my graduate experience, I decided I'm going to try professional golf. So I've known Ken as a professor, as a consultant, as a sports agent, as a colleague, and as a friend. So let me briefly do this in 5 to 7 minutes. So off I go to Q School, get through first stage, get through second stage, go off to finals, happen to play beautifully that week, and we'd set the goals at the finals of Q School that we're going to go experience what it's like and try and do the routines well. So 410 shots later, I happen to finish tied for first at Q School, and now I'm on the PGA Tour. A great performance at the time. There's a lot of interest in the Australian media and with equipment companies and with agents. I am not represented by anyone. Dr. Ken Rivers became Jerry Maguire. It's hard to see the sport philosopher taking on this role, but he did it beautifully. So we used to time, we'd be often plotting and planning for the season, and we'd call someone in the agent world or the equipment world, and we'd time how long it would be to get back to us. So it was a hot commodity at the time, and often things would be, someone was in a meeting, but they would call back within 45 to 60 seconds. And we are timing. Thinking this is the greatest game of all. So Anyway, so I played professional golf for 10 years. And Ken was my consultant for that time. And what a rock. Like, talk about loyalty, give a shit factor. I mean, right there the whole time. Because the words you used, Tracy, I thought were beautiful. The words that I would add were interested and interesting. Like his give a shit factor for his students, crazy high. And every time we go to a class, I'm like, wow, that was really interesting. I've heard Ken do Sports Psych 101 100 times, and every time it was different. It was made to meet the group's needs, and it was fantastic. So after my 9th year of playing professional golf, it's not going very well. It's basically a failing career at this point. At the end of season review, Ken poses the question, do you think it's time? Cocky, depressed Neil gets in Ken's face. You better get on board, buddy, because I'm going back to the tour next year, and you better get on board or you're out. So Ken says, yep, sure, no, we'll do it one more year, let's go for it, blah, blah, blah. Year 10 of professional golf, not that great. We're having the end of year review. He poses the question again, Ken, Neil, do you think it's time? Yeah, I do think it's time. So, which has led to my next career as a sports psychology consultant and golf coach, of which Ken has mentored beautifully along the way, and it's become a really nice business and a great relationship to share my expertise in a different way. The last thing, I've got to know Ken as a friend. There's been, as a graduate student, there's ups and downs. As a professional athlete, there's ups and downs. He's been there the whole time. So, personally, professionally, he's been there right with me, and I appreciate that so much. And just recently, in the last 6 months, it's like, there's not only so much teaching that's been there, but there's so many other things you've opened to it. I never knew what a dandelion salad was. I never experienced fully the joys of a G&T. And now, in the last 6 months, I really have got to enjoy Mount Monadnock. Inside joke. But, Ken, thank you so much. I mean, what a rock. I can't say enough. The single most important person in my life. Thank you very much.